Hello, and thank you for participating in our online annual discipline-specific activity. For those of you that I've not met, I'm Kaylee Malsey, the Associate Dean of School Partnerships here at Penn Highlands Community College. While I have communicated with all of you in some form or another, it is my pleasure to work with each one of you. As many of you know, we typically hold an in-person event each fall, allowing you to work face-to-face with the college faculty and our college faculty liaisons to talk about many topics, including course content, delivery methods, assessment, or research and development in the field. This event is a requirement of our NACEP accreditation. While it saddens us that this year we were unable to hold an in-person event due to the COVID-19 pandemic, our liaisons have worked hard to provide an opportunity for us to still meet the requirements in some face-to-face format. In the fall, faculty liaisons held live Zoom meetings with ACE faculty. We understand that not everybody was able to attend these meetings at the specific time, but the meetings were all recorded and have been uploaded for you to complete and view at your leisure. Supporting documents from all of these meetings are also included on the training pages. We appreciate your time in completing the annual discipline-specific activity. There is a short survey that we are asking you to complete once you have completed the training. If you have any questions regarding this training or other requirements, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can email me at kmalsey@pennhighlands.edu or give me a call at 814-262-3859. Thank you again for your dedication to the students and your participation in the ACE program. Thank you.
So, I'm Greg Paonessa. I'm the Instructor of Computer Technology at Penn Highlands. I'm going to be discussing the Cengage Mindtap product this evening. We'll cover an overview of capabilities and Mindtap features. I'll demonstrate some of the tool's interface and hopefully get a chance to review how to set up or modify a course. And then we can explore the usage of Mindtap with the CIT 100 micro applications course that's here at Penn Highlands. So a little bit, I'll be using most of the discussion will be from this set of, it's not a set of slides, but from this tool. As I walk down through, we can expand and go into more detail on some of the topics. So Cengage Mindtap, it is basically a tool that gives the students a comprehensive place to access all of their content, their e-textbooks, the quizzes, assignments, flashcards, anything that the instructor chooses to make available. We get to choose the content, the platform, how the device is deployed, and what learning tools to bring into the content. It is customizable, it is cloud-based. There is a web portal that you log into through Cengage, and we'll try and walk through and demonstrate most of that this evening. At a high level, the capabilities of Mindtap, it's providing a way to engage the student with content. It's online and not necessarily completely hands-free, but you can create situations where you'd allow the user to do everything from reviewing chapters of the book, assigning them as capabilities or as assignments for exercises to go through. Various books have entire courses set and created for them. The Mindtap has been developed at Cengage with over 1,200 solutions, and you can look up your discipline through, the subject title, the author, the format, or even what's been provided or created for specific learning management systems. there are additional tools of educator guides, things that help you create the best experience for the student, training resources, things that will help you get up to speed on using their tool. It's fairly complex. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to it, but they help out a lot at Cengage. You can work with others, peers that maybe are in the same topic area, or work directly with their technical support. We have a very good local rep who has been able to help bridge a lot of gaps with getting things up to speed very quickly. When we were dealing with the COVID issues back in March, Cengage made all of their materials free for the students because of the sudden changeover to going online. They helped us create initial coursework to get out there and turn things into an online experience, as opposed to us as instructors trying to convert whatever our daily course was into something that may work over an online format. They also have LMS integration. And I pulled a bunch of this information off of their website, so it's fairly current, but if you want to explore Cengage.com, look for Mindtap, and there is videos, there is testimonials, there's other information regarding the capabilities of this tool and how to make it work with your classroom. Some of the features Mindtap provides: there is a dashboard. It is the landing page for students. It's a little bit different. Instructors have at least one page ahead of that to allow them to manage and configure various courses. But there's a dashboard, a learning path. These items are some things we'll take a look at as we go through. But it provides, again, one comprehensive place for students to get to their assignments. You can view their performance. You can see who's doing what. The assignments can be viewed as a date-driven or a topic-driven presentation. The learning path, the information that is created. Mindtap has already utilized educators to build the content based off of the ebook that they have. So everything from all the exercises to additional virtual labs and videos are added in initially. Everything that's there, you can go through and customize it to what makes sense for you. For instance, whenever we were using Mindtap at Penn Highlands, one of my classes, the CIT 100 class, is completely online, and everything from assignments through grading are all maintained through the Mindtap side. Some of my other classes, I do not use Mindtap as extensively, but I use it as an emergency. If something were to happen that I wouldn't be available to attend a class for a week or something along those lines, I can go straight into Mindtap and pull assignments or tasks out of that and assign it to the students. They are familiar. We spend some time at the beginning of the year, semester, to make sure that they understand how to use Mindtap. That from that point on, it is pretty straightforward. So they have tools that allow you to access and read the entire ebook. Within that reading tool, you can create highlights, you can create notes or videos and readings to share with the students. Students can highlight their own text, they can add notes, they can create flashcards, things to help them memorize and learn things along the way. There are tools that show progress and metrics to help you pinpoint how are the students engaging in the content. There's a tool for a student portfolio where they get to collect any evidence that they want in one place to help showcase their achievements. There's also a collection of study tools that are easily accessible right off the dashboard for students to use. So from there, I'm going to probably walk through some demonstration. If anybody has any questions at any time, just speak up or add them to the chat and I'll take care of it, or if I notice. We'll move on to the demonstration side. Let me open this. I'll log into my account. Actually, my account's still logged in, good. So as a Cengage account member, any of the ebooks that I'm using in teaching show up in one place. And from that spot, I can access either Mindtap information or additional resources. The Mindtap information allows me to start off with managing courses. And it's twofold at this point. I can either create a master course, which is what's been done with our CIT 100. Other instructors at Penn Highlands have gone through and established, working with Cengage, the CIT Microcomputer Applications course, as a master course, made it available to us. Dates, etc., exam information are all built into it and shared so that we can share amongst ourselves, and then use that master course to create the actual courses for the specific classes that we have. And as they age out, they become something you can access and look at it afterwards, or you can continue using the master course and go deeper into that. We'll look at an example from the demonstration side of one of my courses. So whenever you're in Mindtap, the student will typically see what is on the left-hand side. This allows us to, I'll walk down through the very beginning of the course, welcomes the student, making sure that there's some activities to get you started understanding how to use Mindtap. And in this grouping of courses or assignments, there's an item called a virtual machine lab. There's a guide to understand how to use that. So everything is presented up front for you to see. The actual courses from the view that I'm looking at is broken down by topic. So I can see all the units, all the chapters of the book that I'm teaching from. I can jump specifically to a chapter and say, well, we're going to work in, if we were working in chapter 5, I could make sure I understood what was being presented there ahead of time, what was available to use, and I can customize this and remove or add topics that I choose. But by default, Cengage is able to provide quite a bit of detail in activities. And some of these activities will be automatically graded. If you choose, you can set number of tries, you can set a lot of different details on, you know, this is actually walking into an example of what that would look like. So for this particular class, it is walking through a test of 20 questions, pretty straightforward. You can use this interface, create your own, or modify the testing side. If I wanted to edit that information from an instructor's perspective, it is straightforward. Click edit. I can change details due dates, how long this is going to be available, when it first becomes available, and then some more specific information on the activity, that if it is gradable or not, what's the max score, how many attempts, and which score do you take. There's choices. You can take the most recent, you can average them. You can change it to unlimited or set a finite number of attempts and change it from being graded or not. Not everything has to be graded, but you can allow, a lot of cases, the system will even allow the student to work with assignments, and it is configured to compare data entered into for the CIT 100 course. Information that is saved in an Excel file is uploaded to the site, compared against what should be there, and graded based upon expectations that were laid out in the activities. We'll walk through some of that before the end of this presentation. So in this example, you can see there's units of topics to read. There are some video activities, some information for reviewing, enforcing, and practice exercises. In chapter 6, unit 6, it actually has this concept of a virtual machine lab. So for my needs, a lot of my classroom efforts required the students to physically be in the room to work with either virtual machines or physical hardware for the computer science side of things. This offers a couple different ways to simulate that experience. Here, this virtual lab is showing a collection of virtual machines that are associated to it. Each student would log in and see their own instance of the virtual machine based off of their network traffic or their network bandwidth. You know, the experience is fairly uniform and stable, but as with anything network-based, you may run into slowness or problems depending on people's connectivity. Give this a second to see if it loads, and we'll at least see the example. Other information that is, once you start this, it actually walks you through a set of instructions of exercises to work with the physical virtual machines. So once they're powered up and on and available, you can go through connecting to the appropriate machine for this case, and it works exactly like a installed version of Microsoft Windows Server. There are other simulators that are available that are used with some of the exercises that walk you through a very specific interface. In some cases, that information is, you have to know exactly what the system is looking for to get the right answer out the other side. It's a little bit frustrating for students if that happens, and I try to locate those sort of exercises and either avoid them or explain them ahead of time so that the student knows that it isn't their fault that they couldn't get to something. It's something specific with the way the device is laid out. So walking back over to Schoology, let me take our LMS at Penn Highlands currently is Schoology. We are transitioning from that to a different tool. But within Schoology, I will just use a sample here. You can connect and integrate the Cengage activities directly with your LMS. And how that happens is ahead of time, you pick the book, they make them available for you for use for your courses. You link it to the course. And you can create a new version, a copy, and walk down through some of these options. So here I'm going to pull it from this course. Well, actually, I think I'm going to pull it from, that'll be fine if it lets me. It needs the dates up front so that it can set some of the actual assignment dates by default. Let's see what I get out of that collection. I can't do that yet, so I probably need some information.
You need to do the time zone.
Thank you. I was getting there. I appreciate that. And that's all it was, probably. It's the only one that shows the asterisk that I was missing. So you can synchronize to activity or overall course scores. It depends on how you want to set things up. But once it starts, you can go back in now, and all those things that we just looked at are available here to bring as individual assignments across. And for instance, the lab assignments that we were just in, I can bring those two across and integrate the grades. So whatever grade that was achieved by the student on the Mindtap side gets communicated over to Schoology and added into the grade book on this side.
You said that you guys are going to change to something different other than Schoology?
We are transitioning out of Schoology soon, but it's how I would have to look up the name of that real quick.
Like we're just transitioning into that.
Schoology has worked well for us. It was just something came available. I'm not exactly sure of the decision process, but let me see if I find the name of it. Brightspace. We'll be using Brightspace moving forward, maybe as early as next semester, but it'll probably be next fall at a minimum. So at this point, integrating any of the assignments come across as a clickable link. If I wanted to go back to that one, my ability to launch it is there. And it should take me straight into that course. This is actually because it's the first time I used it. No, I might as well. Online by topic. Using an LMS, yes. In this case, if it isn't specified, there's a few that they have. Adjust the dates. And continue. Okay, so this only happens from the instructor's perspective of getting things set up the first time. So make sure that the student knows, or that you know what your textbook is, course material, ISBN numbers for reference, and you can take a tour. So if I do that again, I should be able to see, walking straight to that particular course. So it logs all the way in. It actually connects and should start up the virtual lab just as we saw before. and go through the process of allowing the student now to walk through the exercises and work through the assignment. So, any questions on that side of demonstration? Okay.
That's all good.
I will walk through a specific example of the CIT 100 course. There's some things I want to show. Specific, are any of you using the CIT 100 course that are online?
No, I've been teaching just like I have been. The only thing that I've been having problems with is like assessing tests, like on knowledge instead of like performance based. I kind of have been doing that more because we don't have any way to like lock screens or anything like that. So
yes,
taking it for granted that they are able to cheat, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Right.
You know, with memorization tests, stuff like that. Like I usually give like screenshots of like Google, because we use Google instead of Microsoft, and I do like screenshots of like Google Docs, slides, sheets, and things like that. And if you give them a study guide, I mean, it's obvious that they're going to use that. So I kind of just incorporate more assignments where it's activity based, where they have to go to certain parts so that I know that they understand where they're at and what they do.
Yeah, I like providing a hands-on based approach if I can.
Right.
And make sure that they get an assignment and they have to show that they were able to achieve it and get to the results. And a lot of the things happen through CIT 100 in Mindtap in a similar way. And what's nice is they've integrated, in this case, with Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint to a pretty substantial degree.
Right.
So walking down through what's available for this, you start off again with that beginning and understanding what the files are, the system, how to work with Mindtap. They provide a bunch of data files for the students to use throughout the course. So they initially get those downloaded, and then they walk you through either taking you straight to the readings or giving you the chance to do exercises. And in this case, the students in our online course of CIT 100 are pretty open to get in during a week's time and achieve whatever needs to be done. The course opens up assignments on a certain day, and they have a due date where they're disabled at that point. And Tim, I see that you're doing CIT 165. So there may be some versions of that also available through Mindtap. I haven't looked specifically for all of our courses yet. I'm still a little new to this side of things, but we'll get there.
Are you noticing that like the new students, the younger students coming in and taking CIT 100 at Penn Highlands are like struggling a little bit with this, since most schools are like referring to using Google?
I haven't.
Microsoft. I mean, it's roughly the same, like more or less. I mean, to you and I, but I just was curious what the students' thoughts are, or if they haven't even said anything.
The students I've seen so far have not really complained about it being Microsoft. I know that it can look from our perspective as two different camps of people, but the tools themselves, they really do overlap a lot,
right,
in the capabilities and what you're trying to get across. It's just down into the fine-tuned semantics of where things are found in each tool to get
right
there.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So I've had 3 groups of students I would associate to CIT 100. I have students that have been engaged from the beginning and have not asked a single question and have gone through picking things up with very little encouragement, saying, hey, this is what needs to be done this week. And they move on and they do it. I have the exact opposite of that, of students who have it doesn't appear like they've done anything in the course. And I try to nudge them and I try to communicate with them and I hear nothing back. And then there's that group in the middle that they will ask a lot of questions and they either don't understand anything about computers and they want to know why they can't do this way, or why do I need this book and this other tool purchased? We've got to get them past just the purchasing of the materials to get them into the environment. And then with a little bit, some encouragement, they've been doing okay.
Good.
Let's see. So some of the things down through here, you can actually even put exams within here. So there is an actual word at the end of this list. One of the exams is embedded into Mindtap, and it walks through a number of attempts, lets the student go through the process. I think so far I haven't had any complaints from this versus other types of exams where I would provide like a PDF, an electronic format, and tell them to take the exam and upload your answers. So I'm not sure which one they prefer, but in this case, they actually get hands-on with tools that look like the environment that they're trying to work in. So I think those are good examples for the student to experience. As you might have seen on this look, there is, for instructors, there's this middle page called the grade book and showing you activities. Now down the side, students' version may be a little bit different, but this is part of the dashboard that gives them access to a lot of other tools. Opening the grade book for us, you get to see what assignments were built in and they're coming up immediately. You can look at analytics. You can actually go through and see your student roster based on the assignments, see who's turning things in late. All of that is, again, captured outside of the LMS. But if you are using these specific assignments in the class, you can assign them and have those grades come across and right into your Schoology or whichever one you end up with, we end up with. Another feature that I wanted to show here was the SAM interface for looking at the information. I'll expand that hopefully. Oops, hit the wrong way. So in here, we can look at results of what the students have been doing. They've been doing assignments that are actually using those pre-downloaded data files and following instructions on how to make the changes to learn about the tool, and then instructions on how to upload that so it can be graded. So you walk through, we're going to look at projects. We're going to look at any submitted projects. We want to be able to download them ourselves. And then you would pick from a student, and everything that the student has uploaded into the system is available for you to see what they originally submitted. Each time they've submitted it, they may, if there's 3 tries, they might submit something slightly different. You see what, how much time they spent between submissions. And then you can see the graded version of that file. And I have an example of that for us to talk to. I just need to know which one's the report. Well, this is the example of one of the Excel files. The student downloaded this to start with. They followed all of the instructions to populate it and went through the process of learning how to deal with certain components of Excel. And the other day I got the question, Professor, I don't know why I can't get a grade that I'm expecting I'm following what the instructions say, and I'm using min and max in the fields they tell me to, which are right here and right here, but it's marking them wrong. Can you tell me what's the matter with it? So I went and looked at this, and I can see that they're using min and max. And then I went and looked at the actual other file that was provided. And in this file, it tells me everything that was checked that they did, all the steps that were verified by the process or by uploading it. And it got to 13 and 14, the last two steps, which were using min and max. And they're marked wrong, okay? But I noticed the problem is right here at the end. The student used the wrong range. So they had min and max right, but they extended the range too far for those. Whoops, I want to change there. So in this case, the range went to 15 for max and 14 for min, but it was supposed to be only going from 4 to 13 for both of them. So without too much effort, I was able to find out what the student turned in, look through the process of how it was graded, and then determine the answer. And I was able to message them back and say, hey, take a look at the ranges that you were using, and then I gave them the chance to try again. All of those are capabilities that depend on what you're trying to do with the students. Sometimes I find that I would rather take things through any type of hands-on first before I would go to an online example. But there are times that I can assign extra credit. I can assign other work from Mindtap that if the students can't be in the classroom for the physical equipment, they can do a similar exercise. So half the class can do the exercise on the equipment, and parts of the class can do it online if they're not in the classroom. So finding the best fit for the tool, may depend on what you're teaching or how you like to teach. But I think that Mindtap provides a lot of options, and where we're at right now, that helps. So that was pretty much everything I was going to go through. I see, Tim, you're using Canvas. I think that should not be an issue, but what I recall was if it supports IMS basic LTI standards, then it'll integrate with it. Even Schoology isn't specifically listed, but I know Schoology supports those standards, and we've had no problem integrating with it. And if there's any issues that have come up for us, talking to our local rep has solved them very quickly. She's been very supportive, and I think Cengage has done a lot to try and make sure students get through this. Okay, I see that, Tim. All right, guys, do you have any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Was it useful?
Yes. It's just, I wish that our school was able to use, truthfully, like all that you showed us tonight, I can't integrate that into my class because we don't have access to Microsoft. And that's a lot of nice features that I'd have to, if they would do that using Google, that would be spectacular.
I know that we are trying to adjust at Penn Highlands, that course so that it will include, we're looking at how to include the Google slides, spreadsheets, etc.
Right.
And I'm not sure if Mindtap or Cengage has anything specific for teaching Google. I can check into it, and if they do, I'll let you know.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Tim, I see that you're going to be trying to migrate with Cisco Academy to CompTIA using Cengage Mindtap. Let me know how that goes, or if you have questions. Lisa Zuccarello or myself have worked with the Mindtap stuff a lot since March, at least a little bit more than me with some of it. So we can help you, if it's something that we've come across before, or we can work with Cengage as needed. Okay, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.